Hello, all our friends watching Today in 30 on Today All Day. We hope you had a good weekend.
Yeah, we love that you're spending part of your Monday with us. Another big week here in Studio 1A. Here's what we've got coming up.
First, we're going to bring you the very latest on that massive oil spill along the Southern California coast. Efforts are underway to contain even more damage from what's already being called an environmental catastrophe. We'll have a full report.
Then how about a dose of inspiration to start your week? Hoda sat down with lifelong friends Oprah and Maria Shriver for her Making Space podcast. Suffice to say, it was a powerful conversation. You don't want to miss it.
Plus, JBH, Jenna Bush Hager, sharing her one-on-one with Jerry Seinfeld, the legendary comedian, telling all about a top-secret project he's been working on. So let's get it started. Monday's edition of Today in 30. NBC's Emily Ikeda joins us live from Seal Beach. Emily, good morning.
Good morning. Well, the spill happened just south of here, where there's now a health advisory urging residents to stay away from the coastline to not only avoid direct contact with the oil, but also the toxic fumes it's producing. This morning, a massive oil spill spreading off the coast of Southern California. Toxic globs washing ashore, putting local officials and wildlife experts on high alert.
To see the environmental impact on our shore, to me, it's absolutely devastating.
The leak originating from a pipeline connected to an oil platform operated by Beta Offshore, dumping 126,000 gallons of oil into the Pacific Ocean, now spanning 13 square miles.
It's shameful. It's sad. It honestly makes me a little bit mad just seeing this. And the only thing I'm hopeful for is a true cleanup, because this is bad.
The pipeline company says the line has been shut down, but they aren't sure what caused it to fail. Divers investigating the spill a few miles offshore, while cleanup crews frantically working to limit the slick spread. But even the robust response isn't foolproof.
I would say that this is going to be a sustained and longer-term effort.
The invisible toxicity of the oil and possible long-lasting effects, a major concern. That's what caused so much of the damage to the coast, wildlife, and communities following the Deepwater Horizon spill in the Gulf of Mexico, the largest spill of oil in the history of marine oil drilling. It's still harming wildlife in the area over 10 years later. A steep toll officials fear we could see again.
We've already received reports of many animals being covered in oil, fish washing up onto the shore.
Nearly a decade ago, the pipelines company modeled what a worst-case scenario would look like. Roughly 3,000 barrels leaking into the Pacific. This weekend, that's exactly what happened. Those documents obtained by NBC News suggesting a spill like this could cause significant and substantial harm to the environment.
The truth of the matter is, if we drill, we will spill. It's just a matter of when.
The pipeline is located about 100 feet below the water's surface, making it difficult for divers to pinpoint the source of the leak. We're told the pipeline was inspected just last week. Savannah?
All right, Emily, thank you very much.
If you know Hoda Kotb, you know she's a friendship kind of person. Through thick and thin, her people are her people.
Yes.
And that is on full display in the newest Making Space podcast. An inspiring chat with both Oprah Winfrey and Maria Shriver.
I mean, can you imagine the three of them together? Maria and Oprah actually met 42 years ago at a local station in Baltimore. They've been supporting each other ever since.
When you've, had somebody who's gone through the birth of all your children with you, right? Your marriage, your divorce, the death of your parents, the death of yourself, the rebirth of yourself, the evolution of herself, the change of herself. You just step back and you're like, damn, how blessed am I to have that?
Maria Shriver and Oprah Winfrey have spent the last 42 years spiritually connected, as Oprah calls it, and to this day, continue to grow and evolve together. What's the best thing about being this age?
I remember, Oprah, you telling me, when you turn 60, people are going to start treating you different. And I was like, no, they're not. Well, but I started, I think, slowly in my 60s, have started treating myself differently. And started to be kinder to myself.
Oprah, what about for you? What's the best part?
The thing about how you want to get to this point. Anything you do, you choose to do it because it's going to bring you pleasure, meaning, enjoyment, fulfill some kind of purpose that you want or desire, but you have nothing to prove. Nothing to prove, because you already proved it.
This after a lifetime of both Oprah and Maria feeling they needed to prove themselves. When you talk about your own mom who was like, you got to go, go, go. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? I mean, rest, vacation, relaxing was not part of the plan, wasn't part of the routine.
When I have gone to visit Oprah, when I went, she would, this sounds so kind of silly, but she would say oh, here's a cup of coffee I made for you.
I brought the coffee and paper to your door.
And I'm gonna cry. It was so moving to me because that's not how I grew up. Even though I had a very close relationship with my mother, I wasn't mothered in that way, right? And she wasn't mothered in her own way. But I think in a way we have mothered each other.
It was Oprah who needed nurturing in the midst of a career hardship as she transitioned away from her successful 25-year run on The Oprah Winfrey Show to launching the Oprah Winfrey Network.
Every newspaper, everybody was saying you should have kept your day job, the struggling own, what'd you leave the Oprah Show for? It was really a bad time for me. I was taking it so personally, like this personally means that I have failed.
People don't give you any grace space, that it was, a moment where she had to, in a way go back to her grit that built, her career, and people forget that.
Maria supported Oprah then, and in turn, Oprah supported Maria during the most challenging times in her life. What was the most difficult thing you had to let go of in your life?
Probably my marriage. Yeah, or my vision of whatever I thought my marriage was.
And prior to that, the loss of their mother.
If you had told me that at the age of 52, I would finally get up the nerve to crawl into bed with my mother, hold her, and tell her that I love her, I would have said, you were nuts.
After my mother passed away, and Oprah had been at my wedding, she was at my mother's funeral, and then she called me right after my mother died and said, I'm going to have a gathering for you. We're going to call it Team Maria. And it was just this really sweet, loving, moment of we're here, we love you, you're gonna make it through.
As Oprah and Maria so fondly look back at the 42 years past, they also look ahead together. What's the most recent kind of revelation or life lesson you've learned at this stage in the game?
The last time Maria was here, we were walking around and we were just talking about our lives and the fact that everything that has happened to me, I actually earned it. I'm just so pleased to be in a space where I'm no longer, Maria and I talked about this for a while, no longer having to make decisions that please other people and don't please you.
If I think back, 20, 30 years, I thought I'd be cooked by this time. Yeah. Or I thought I'd, knew everything there was to know. And I actually feel, so alive at this age. I feel lighter, I feel freer. I am surprised by how awake in my own life I feel. So that to me is a godsend, is a miracle actually.
Oh, we are back with our ongoing series with NBC Sports, Once in a Lifetime.
That's right, millions were glued to last night's battle between Tampa Bay and New England. Tom Brady playing again and beating the team he helped turn into one of the NFL's most storied franchises.
But there's another Boston area football team you might not have heard of that's just as successful. The women of the Boston Renegades are just as dominant in their league as the Patriots were in their prime. And they've done it while overcoming adversity to become a growing part of the Boston sports landscape.
They are New England's football dynasty.
Touchdown, Patriots!
No, the other one. 6 championships? Check. The greatest quarterback in league history? Check. A star wide receiver and a league MVP? You guessed it. Meet the Boston Renegades, champions of the Women's Football Alliance, the largest women's tackle football league in the world.
Everything's the same. The only difference is we don't need the cups.
You are no longer in Kansas. You are in Boston.
The Renegades' success hasn't come easy.
It wasn't always like this. We've built that culture.
Come on, defense. I know it was one of you guys.
And now when rookies come in, they know that they're coming into a 6-time national championship team.
How would you describe the Boston Renegades?
I would say family first and just a tenacious attitude.
Long before they could break tackles, they had to break the mold. These athletes started playing when football had few options for women.
I've been playing football since I was 3 years old, so for my whole life.
I definitely wasn't an all-girls team, and it really started like in the neighborhood with my brothers.
With the beloved Pats, Bruins, Red Sox, and Celtics making Boston a title town, the Renegades are earning their own part of that glory and attention from that fierce fan base.
For her second touchdown in the game.
But this football is all passion, no pay. Practicing on nights and weekends after working their day jobs.
I was born in Boston.
Like star defensive back Shantae Bonds, who teaches high school math.
Tell me about some of the athletes that you play with. What kind of commitment do they have?
We're doing this 3 days a week after work hours and then on the weekends. It's a huge commitment.
Let's go, tweet.
They're either full-time work or they're in school. Every hour outside of that, they're dedicating to their craft, which is really their passion.
And this July, with the Renegades chasing a record 6th title, they got a surprise call from the sidelines.
If you wish, we'd like the privilege of flying you on our Patriot team plane.
Are you serious? We found out today that Bob Kraft and the Patriots want to fly us to the game.
For the team, that meant not just the cool factor of taking the Patriots' private plane, but an opportunity to bond after being separated during the pandemic.
We started the season not even being able to all be in the locker room at the same time. We didn't have after parties, after games, where those times off the field where you get to know your new teammates and bond with the old ones. So for that championship weekend to just be all of us in the same place, it just made up for all of those opportunities that we'd missed prior.
The Renegades will start chasing their 4th straight title in the spring. But their visibility is just as important as their victories.
Women's tackle football is growing tremendously, and it's because now we have little girls that are seeing women play at the highest level.
There's tons of women playing football. Like, we just might not be on the ESPN top 10, but we're out there and we're working hard and trying to grow the game and commit to it what it deserves.
Growing the game for the next generation of girls who will suit up on Sundays.
All those little girls out there who want to play, support them. Let them play. All they want to do is play a sport. If a girl has a desire to do something, that means she has the ability. All that means is we need to nurture it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about Making Space. Not because the sign is here, but because I get to interview Oprah Winfrey and Maria Shriver. We know that Oprah and Gail have been friends for 40 plus years. Did you know that Oprah and Maria have been friends for 42 years? They have seen every side of each other. They sit, it's like when you join my podcast, it's like you're sitting at the lunch table with them. They're having a conversation, you're like,
I want a glass.
And then she said, what? And then you were crying. And how did you help? Their friendship is on display. It is beautiful. Oprah and Maria. Who wants more? Not me.
This morning in Motivational Monday, an accomplished musician whose journey, nothing short of incredible. His name is Richard Antoine White. He's a professional tuba player. He's also the author of I'm Possible. He told me how the instrument helped him go from the streets of Baltimore to the symphony stage.
Going to do a little beatboxing in the tuba.
The sounds and rhythms coming from this tuba are truly unique. But then again, so is the guy playing. What? Do you get strange looks even now? I mean, you're a 6'5", 300-pound black dude with cornrows hauling around a tuba.
You have no idea. People still ask me, have you ever been to a concert? I was like, well, I dabble a little bit, you know, sometimes. I don't tell them that I'm the tuba player. And then they see me on stage and go, what?
This is Richard Antoine White, and as the principal tubist for the New Mexico Philharmonic and Santa Fe Symphony, he's right at home on stage. A far cry from his childhood in Baltimore, where home was often the street.
This water fountain has got to be just as old as me,
because it's where I would drink and bathe if I needed to. That was my bathroom, man.
Growing up on the streets, your mom was in and out of your life. She was an alcoholic. What were those days like?
Every day was literally about finding my mom or finding something to eat. I would find food in trash cans. And because I didn't know if I would eat again, I would chew it and then just store it under my tongue. So later on, if I got really hungry, I would take that food that I had stored under my tongue and eat it later.
Richard eventually found two lifelines: his adoptive grandparents who took him in and joining the school band, which revealed a natural ear for music.
It was exciting to me, and when I first started playing, I would play The Cosby Show, Sanford and Son theme shows, and beatbox. No one else could do that on their instrument.
But you couldn't read music, right? You couldn't count the beat. How did you pick it up?
I started playing tuba on something called a cassette tape. It would say, this is B flat, play B flat, pause the tape. When you have mastered B flat, move on to C. Do, pause.
You learned from a cassette tape?
Yes.
That's awesome. He became good enough that he decided to audition to get into the prestigious Baltimore School for the Arts. There was just one problem.
I showed up a day late. The director had left something there, just happened to be there. He said, what are you doing here? Auditions was yesterday. And I don't know how, but I boldly looked him right in the eyes and said, but I'm here now. And he said the audacity or the determination was so fierce that he had to hear me.
Richard got in. And from there, he went on to the Peabody Conservatory of Music, then Indiana University, where in 2012, he became the first black man in America to get a doctorate of music in tuba. He credits his many mentors along the way.
And to all the teachers out there, I really want you to know that I am what happens when you don't give up.
He's now a tenured professor himself at the University of New Mexico.
My primary responsibility is to inspire hope, to show every little kid, whether they want to play tuba or trumpet, that regardless of their advantages or disadvantages, that they can do it.
And much like a symphony, Richard says the key to life is everyone playing their part together. What do you want people to take away from your story?
Be kind, recognize and acknowledge that it takes a village. We were put on this planet to work and live together. Let's offer the world the best version of ourselves. Cumulatively, that's gotta equal something magnificent. And I hope we can all help each other to achieve that.
Jenna, your viewers are in for a real treat. Your whole public is. Sat down with the incomparable Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, I sure did. How lucky am I? It's not every day you get to hang out with one of New York's most famous residents. Jerry and I chatted about Seinfeld coming to Netflix, why he turned himself into a Lego, and yada, yada, yada. We got a little sidetracked. Check it out. Oh. Hello! Have you ever heard that before?
Not from you.
Jerry, hi.
It was my first time interviewing Jerry Seinfeld, and the prep work was intense.
Hello! Do you know where that's from? Seinfeld. Yeah.
I thought I nailed it until I got some feedback from the master of this domain. Was that hello, sounded deep enough for it to be belly button talk, or not really?
You have to kind of bring it down from here.
Okay.
You have to go.
Hello.
No, not your hand. Hello. Then you go up high.
Oh, okay.
You start low and go high.
Hello.
Yeah.
No.
Little gravelly.
Jerry was here on this beautiful New York all day to announce all 9 seasons of his hit 90s sitcom, Seinfeld. Get out! Are now streamable on Netflix. But Jerry wanted to make the announcement his way.
It's must-see TV like you've never seen it before. Inspired by the wildly popular Lego set model.
That's right, Jerry Seinfeld as a Lego. It's real and it's spectacular.
And he's every bit as funny as his human counterpart.
I am the human counterpart. They shrunk me down.
Quiet.
Okay, so you've played a lot of different Jerrys. You've had the big puffy sleeve
Yes,
Jerry.
on the Today Show.
Yes.
We debuted the puffy shirt on the Today Show with Brian Gumbel.
What made you think, okay, it's time naturally to be a Lego Jerry?
Well, who doesn't want to be a Lego? You can order the universe with Lego. You can make sense of something.
Yeah.
If you follow the instructions and you complete the model, it makes sense.
Lego Jerry is a 90-second digital short released over the weekend by Netflix, complete with the Lego version of Seinfeld's New York City apartment, cereal included. Tell me about being a Lego, transforming. It did not look comfortable, I have to tell you.
Some of those bits, like, you know, when I skate out in the end, that took an hour and a half of moving an inch at a time.
I was worried about you because it looked like there was a little bit of a wedgie in this area.
Yeah, a lot of issues below the waist.
But apparently no issues asking Oscar-nominated and Emmy and Tony-winning actor Bryan Cranston to reprise his Seinfeld role as dentist Tim Whatley.
Lego Whatley not available. Yeah. What happened to Whatley?
He did like 5 episodes.
6.
So the amazing Bryan Cranston, you call him on the phone and say, want to be in a Lego short?
Yeah.
And his response was?
Love to. He says, I don't know what you're talking about, but I trust you.
And trust is what Jerry Seinfeld has had, that his beloved New York City will come back after the pandemic, expressing it in a New York Times op-ed article, which went viral. What does it feel like to be here on this day, beautiful fall day in a city that you love so much?
I am humbly proud that I stuck up for my town. You're not getting rid of this. There is nothing like this anywhere in the world.
And on a day like this, there's nowhere better to be.
No. New York on a beautiful day is really magical.
You go away from New York for a couple months. What's the first thing you do when you come back?
Just walk. A walk in New York is like reading a novel. You see snippets of, you know what I love? That people yap on the phone out loud. I love hearing half a conversation.
I do too. So other than eavesdropping, what brings this legendary comedian joy?
I watch a lot of YouTube. I like funny pet stuff.
Do you find comfort in them, humor, what is it?
I don't really have a pet. I know
you do have a pet. You have Javier.
He and I have no real relationship.
Wait, that's your wife is going to take real offense to this.
No, it's her thing.
You don't like cats?
They're okay.
You don't really like a cat?
I like that my wife enjoys it. And when he gets lost, I go looking for him.
So you do secretly love the cat?
Okay, secretly.
Okay,
let's keep it a secret.
And of course, no interview with Jerry Seinfeld is complete without taking time to air our grievances.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
The biggest grievance of 2021 so far.
Oh, I've got tons. Sounds like a plan. That's because it is a plan. That's what the sound was. Just tell me what time you want to meet. Stop saying the thing sounds like a plan.
You know what? Actually, Hoda and I, and actually Savannah, we're in a fight over the word literally because we think it's overused.
Way overused.
Are you on my side?
Totally.
They're like,
totally
well, literally, it's freezing out here. I'm like, no, it's just cold.
It's just freezing.
If it was literally freezing, you would have frostbite.
That's right.
Okay, so do you want to tell Hoda that you're on my side?
I'm on Jenna's side, Hoda. Stop with the literally.
Thank you.
Okay, so Jenna, you interviewed Jerry. Tell me about the hello.
Well, I wanted to address him with a hello.
Savannah, can you do it?
Like how Jerry does it or how Jenna does it?
No, I do. Good question.
Because the way you did it, it sounded a little like 18. There was one day where I took it strange. Like one time, I was like, I'm not sure why, but it's hard. But what is it supposed to be? It's like from low to high, like hello. Yes, and it's a scene from Seinfeld where his uncle would always say that. I love Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld. The fact that we all are still doing Seinfeld references like 3 decades later is incredible. And also when we were coming up with the puns of the Seinfeld references, you know how many we could have done? It was actually very delicious.
Was there anything about him that surprised you?
No.
Or was he as great as you kind of thought?
He was terrific, although I will say in some of the photos, I look twice his size. That surprised me about
No, you did not, Jenna.
You look, people are like, are you taller? Are you bigger?
No, Jenna, you always... No.
Nobody thinks that.
Nobody thinks that.
You looked at the caption? Yeah.
No. Savannah, don't look at the comment.
Hello. Goodbye.
Don't look at the comment.
Bye.
Hope you tune in tomorrow. Foo Fighters legend Dave Grohl is here, going to talk about his new memoir.
Wow, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.